Test, we still with us, guys? Ah, there we go. Yeah, unfortunately, internet's having a real hissy fit at this point in time, so, what can you do? You. Back, foul thing! They seek the ring bearer. Stay close.
Back, foul thing! They seek the ring bearer. Stay close.
Look, you stupid bastard! You've got no arms left. Yes, I have. Look, just a flesh wound.
Ding! We're level up. Ding, level up. Ding, level up. Ding, level up. Ding, level up. What we got? Let's go the Fensora, because that's always my go-to. Bring the mighty! Ding, fresh it done, ding, fresh it done, ding, fresh it done, ding, fresh it done. I gotta run, I gotta run. Would you like an apple pie with that? Would you like an apple pie with that? Ding, fresh it done, ding, fresh it done. Boogeyman! I want to be able to hit shit a little bit.
It's locked. It's locked.
It's locked. It's locked. Thank you for stating the obvious, Mr. Knight.
I can't carry anymore.
Being able to hear the William Tell overture and not think of the Lone Ranger. I think he had a point. Excuse me, I don't need this, I don't need this, I don't need this, I don't need this, I don't need this. What is this? What is this? I do not have enough gold. I am poor. Oh dear. I'm not sure if it came through because I had a bit of a glitch there. In the words of Christopher Lee, the epitome of class is being able to hear the William Tell overture and not think of the Lone Ranger. And frankly, I have to agree with him. I need some water. I am so thirsty. Toasty! people do nothing but whinge about playing this the way like this, running around with the walls. But frankly, it just means a guarantee that I'm going to kill friggin' everything in the area, and also I can get anything that I might need gold for. Stab, stab, kill! Stab, stab, kill! Of the stamina! Alright, that's it. Smoking Browder's giving me the shits. Excuse me, can I help you? Get out of here, you redskin bastard!
I am overburdened.
I am overburdened.
I can't carry anymore.
Greetings!
What you need?
Let's repair and sell. Fun fact that not many people know, if you actually repair the shit and then sell it, it actually sells for more gold.
Yes?
I now look like a mighty knight. And I have a club. I shall club you to death. A tomb of town portal, and I have a tomb of identify, please. I have the stamina! Tip for new players: if you're having trouble with your router, move it closer to where you're actually going. So if you're sat in another room, move it closer to the room in question, because signal strength tends to increase simply by just limiting the distance of the router from the actual item you're using. Sounds simple, sounds stupid, but you would be surprised how many people don't think to do it.
Evil to us cave.
Death to fallen! Sound like one of the Dark Angels. Death to the fallen! Ah! It's a Yeti! No, it's just one Yeti looking thing. Come at me, shaman! Charge! I am here! Coming through the cave like a hero! Death! Death! With the stabbing and the hacking and the punching and the... Oh god. Ah! Ah!
I am overburdened.
Come here, you! Punch the gut, punch the gut, punch the gut, punch in the face!
Overburdened.
Run!
Good to see you.
I now have a metal hat. Put the metal hat on my head.
Greetings.
Ah, my freakishly shiny head. For the longest time I was quite determined I was not going to get this, and then it actually came as part of a deal for another game. And I thought, screw it, why not? And I've got to admit, the fact that you have an option to play through both the original versions or this version, and you can also switch between normal or Lord of Destruction, same as you were able to do with the original, I'm pretty well satisfied with this. Look, I'm not going to forgive Blizzard or anybody or whatever, let's just remake everything. But for the case in point, for someone who has never played Diablo 2 before, always wanted to, never got a chance to, it's worthwhile. And so let's be honest, when we grew up as a kid, and this was the only solid game that anybody would let you play. and the only person who had it was somebody who lived across the street, well, you know, you tend to end up at that person's place quite a lot. Shameless, whatever opportunist
I
I was.
can't carry anymore.
Save space. Right, that's the cave empty. The roads are now safe for the moment. One I've always wanted to see him do is something very similar to more like a Final Fantasy involving these characters. So, especially what was it? Especially the original Diablo. That would have been good as a Final Fantasy style game, in my opinion. Look, not for everybody. Probably wouldn't have done well, but hey, I would love to have seen it as a game. It would have been fun to play. I mean, they did it for Lord of the Rings, for crying out loud, and okay, the game didn't do that well in overall terms, but it's still a cult classic now. And you tell me a whole load of other games that came out around the same time that are still as fondly remembered as that game. Lord of the Rings: The Third Age, for anybody who's interested. PS2. I believe it's available through the store, but I wouldn't recommend it. Apparently they've changed a lot of the crap in it and whatever, and it tends to break. There we are, we have studded leather armour and now look more impressive.
You have cleansed the den of evil. You've earned my trust, and may yet restore my faith in humanity. Your reward is training in the skill of your choice.
I have more training, thank you. More skill, more skill. Open the cow level, damn it! Yep, that's a cow, all right. I love so many of the in-jokes and things like that they took both from here, from the first game, made it into an actual event or something you could actually do in this game, and then in-jokes in this game would take carried over into Diablo 3. That is Blizzard when Blizzard was actually doing its job. Yeah, the fact that the community could build something that good. I mean, it was, and all it started from originally, the secret cow level was a bunch of shit posters on a forum. You know, that's all it started from, and then it gradually grew into this whole theoretical thing that could happen. And then next thing you know, they bring out Diablo 2. Oh, by the way, if you do this and this, you can summon the secret cow level. What? What black magic fuckery is this? He's hugged over Lottie. Lottie's better going and walking around like going to the store. That's what I imagine Carl the Deranged to look like in person.
I can't carry it.
Probably not nice to say, but...
I am
Probably heard a lot
overburdened.
worse.
I can't carry anymore.
Drink all the potions! Because I don't need them right now. Ooh, yes. Ooh. Dang it! Maybe out of scrolls. Come at me, beast!
I can't carry anymore.
Run! Come at me, shamans! Okay, come here, you. You're gonna drop me nice good shit, thank you. Death! Death to devils, death to demons, death to fallen. Yep,
I can't carry anymore.
this is doing wonders for modern feminism. We are the strong, independent Womans! Yeah, here's a club to the face.
I can't carry anymore.
Greetings.
Please tell me how outraged you are by telling me how hard this club is to the head. I shall have an iron mace. God damn it, I want heavy boots. I want better boots.
The Order welcomes you.
She didn't pick up the question case. Okay.
My rogue scouts have just reported an abomination in the monastery graveyard. Apparently, Andariel is not content to take only our living. Bloodraven, one of our finest captains in the battle against Diablo at Tristram, was also one of the first to be corrupted by Andariel. Now you'll find her in the monastery graveyard, raising our dead as zombies. We cannot abide this defilement. If you are truly our ally, you will help us destroy her.
lot of these are exploding poison and whatever potions. I found most of them are a lot more useful for Amazons, sorcerers in particular, especially if you're not particularly mob control, so you just direct damage, because it helps keep all the buggers off you. Dropping about 7 points in it, brings up to a plus 100%, so effectively you're doing double damage on top of what you normally have. Thirsty. I wish there was an option to actually kind of bury the rogues, just not just leave their
I
bodies
can't
there.
carry anymore.
That would be good, except they're not normal, they're not heavy boots, which kind of sucks. No.
I can't carry anymore.
Very powerful sorcerer's swarm there, that's good.
I am overburdened.
I normally jump between
Good evening.
the paladin, the barbarian, and the druid for most of mine. I've tried the assassin every now and again, but yeah, it's like playing a monk for me. It's not sturdy enough to take some hits. At least with you can drop a paladin into it, or drop a barbarian into the middle of a fight, and he's going to have a fair to even chance of coming out of it. Can't really guarantee that with an assassin or Amazon. Oh yes, here we go. Good, we've got heavy boots. Ah crap. Screw it. I can always just for a charge bolt. There we go. We're rocking the heavy boots now.
Hello.
It's a very interesting effect I noticed for the original game is by the time you hit ring mail on your character, the character physically slows down, which makes sense. It's a freaking heavy piece of armor, but I thought that was actually a really good little trick for for the player, you'll physically notice a speed decrease. Not that it affects their abilities or anything like that. No, just physically the model moves slower. Similar to how other games like Fallout, whatever, when you're over a bird, you can't basically you're moving as if you're stiff. It's good in a long way, that's for sure. So. It's probably the first thing I was looking for when I first started playing this was do they still have it in here? Is it still a thing? Yes, stamina solid. Don't have to keep waiting for it to regen. Do they still does this character still do that? Because it's noticeable in every single character. As soon as you play any character, as soon as you drop a piece of ring mail on them, they will actually slow down. So yeah, it's not just a character or a class that it happens to. So something that moves quickly, i.e. Amazon or Assassin, it affects every single class. So yeah, that would have been an interesting little facet they could have introduced. Was because both the Amazon and the Assassin focus a lot on dexterity weapons, you had a trade-off that your dexterity would go down or go up depending on what sort of armor you're wearing. So similar to the magic users, i.e. the necromancer or the sorceress, you could use certain types of armor, similar to how most D&D and how WoW works in some regards. Just limiting the types of armor you could possibly have the characters. How you can have the characters limited by what sort of armor they could equip. Though that would become an immediate disadvantage much later on, especially when you hit Act 3. Because trying to fight Mephisto in bloody leather armor would suck. I'm only able to do it as a barbarian in friggin' split mail armor, and that's by the skin of my teeth. Anything that really keeps me alive when I'm fighting against as a paladin is either lightning resist or just elemental resist. I think I managed to get the level 1 by then. Certainly a surprise when this came out, seeing it from the first one, because the first one basically it was all the same models. The only thing that changed was the colour. Quite literally, you'd have the exact same model for the exact same things. The only difference that made them was one was yellow, one was red, one was pink, one was the changes between them was really very basic. But we still have something similar going on here, but it's a lot more, I won't say it's a lot more spectacular, it's not a lot more nuanced. I'm not going to blow smoke up bloody Blizzard's ass for that one. A lot of the time it's the same model and the colours changed, but
Good
their
to see you.
personalities are changed. So, especially when you get down to the catacombs or at the end of this act, actually, the Rogue Monastery, the black-skinned fallen, what are they? Dark ones. Yeah, they move a lot faster than the normal fallen do. Obviously, they can take a lot more hit, but they move a lot faster. It's like having the little blue bastard that's protecting the Canstones, Rakanish, him running around with high extra fast. That's pretty much a standard dark one. And of course, the only other benefit for him was having the charge bolt attack. Every time you hit him, he'd send out charge bolts everywhere, which tends to suck when you're getting surrounded by the little bastards.
The Order welcomes you.
Another one that I seem to sort of break away from convention. A lot of people use Geed a lot, like especially when they're really dropping a lot of gold, and they need to drop a lot of gold for whatever reason. They come back after later acts and things like that, and they get extra shit off Geed. I don't see any benefit to Geed at all. I understand the point of Geed. You can drop a low load of gold, get some really, really rare and really, really powerful stuff, but yeah, unless your drop rate is ridiculously horrid, and you haven't quite got a lot of gear, especially in the later difficulties once you start hitting Nightmare and Hell. It tends to be stale up until that point. The drop rates for sets going through Geed is a lot higher though, which is a very interesting thing. So if you're missing pieces of it, a particular set, I think I saw on one of the forums years ago that if you're wearing the sets and it's the item that is the item you're looking for, obviously what doesn't tell you is. But you have a much higher chance of a unique piece as part of the set dropping if you're missing a particular set piece. So that's probably the best advice I ever give anybody is if they're starting to play this or play it wherever they're thinking of doing things like that. Because Articus, that's a big one. It's basically quilted armor.
I am overburdened.
Normal leather gloves and just normal boots, which don't look particularly impressive, but when you start adding the completely ridiculous defense values into it, that it becomes a very powerful piece of armor, or set of armor, especially for low level characters when they're first starting out. You drop an entire piece of all three pieces of Arctic armor on a character, they're basically invincible up until about bloody Act 2, at least. And you wouldn't get that level of whatever until you hit when you hit Nightmare and rocking around in Demon Hide armor.
Yes.
The other one that tends to leave me cold a little bit is a lot more of the sets are only available when you put recipes into the Herodric Cube, which is annoying. I wish I got a lot more into that. Which in the long term, you can see why it would benefit, especially for someone who's a serious, competitive player on here. Some of the stuff that thing can cook up is ridiculous. And I mean, even just the ordinary recipes are enough to turn the chai to something, especially if you're just dropping average items into it to make it a little bit stronger. Socket longsword, there you go. There's a sword that's going to do a lot more damage to undead if you need it to. Just outright do elemental damage if you need it. I have to confess, the only furthest I've ever got was about Act 2 of Nightmare difficulty. So I'm still a journeyman when it comes to how difficult this game can get. I have killed the Cow King though. That's at least my one whatever claim to fame. Oh, Cold Crow, you bastard! I hate you. I've lost count of how many times this thing has killed me over the years. It'll either outright kill me just by damage, or will just get me with that bloody cold explosion. This one's running around like an idiot trying to get into back into the cave, dodge anything that might have come back. Probably end up getting killed outright by the thing again before I ever manage to pick my shit up, so. One thing I did like about some of the types of axes that you can actually get in the game, especially when it comes to Barbarian, a lot of the two-handed axes he can dual wield, which is good. A lot of the swords as well. I think the only one he cannot physically dual wield is the giant axe. So is it giant axe or grey axe? I can't remember. It's the one where it's got the really wicked looking head on it. It's normally a slow attack speed as well, which kind of sucks. But if you drop enough points into dual wield, it tends to negate it a little bit. Because ordinary attack, yeah, it's going to be a little bit slower, but if you just keep mashing double swing, it ramps up the speed a lot, and you're only doing, you get at the about 5th, 6th level, you're doing about 75% damage. So 75% of the ordinary damage you're doing it, and you're doing it at a faster speed. I'll take that over more chance of missing because it's a slower attack speed.
What can I do for you?
Of course, when you've got the Barbarian, you've got the weapon speciality. So if you dropped about 6 points of polearm mastery or axe mastery, depending on the type of axe you're currently wielding, because it classifies either an axe or a polearm. The critical hit off one of those things, especially when you're double swinging, is more than enough to get you over the line. I used to, when I first was playing this, I actually dropped a whole load of points into leap attack for Barbarian. So that was an absolute lifesaver coming to Mephisto, because of course, basically he's stuck on the walkway going up to the Hell portal, and I'm just jumping back and forth hitting him with an attack, jumping back again. Kept me out of the way for most of his spells. The only time I have to worry about it is when he got a direct hit on me, which tend to slow me down. But by the time I'm already in the air, so I'm slowed, and drop on the ground, walk 2 paces, wears off again. The only bit I ever had to worry about was when he decided to launch a lightning attack right at me afterwards, because you can't get out of the way. Second level of the cave. I tend, normal habit, I tend to leave this for after I've killed Bloodraven, just as a way to maybe drop an extra level on the road. But again, another one I learned that basically, if you've leveled up an extra point beyond what you actually would have normally completed the Bloodraven, the road goes up a level anyway, so it's like it's a lot more useful, especially if you're someone who hasn't been playing for a long time. Especially when it comes to Cold Crow, having the rogue with you is makes it a lot easier.
I can't carry anymore.
Because effectively they can sit there and just pepper the thing while you're running in circles, just taking your fire or dodging your fire, and they can concentrate on you.
I am overburdened. I can't carry anymore.
There's so many arguments as well about people not wanting to keep the rogue past Act 1. Go jump into the Palace Guard, jump into the Iron Wolf, and then a Barbarian in the different acts. Honestly, if given the choice, I'll keep the rogue, especially if you're not a ranged sort of build, which works for everybody except, say, sorceress or Amazon, depending if you decide to go melee or you stick with range for Amazon. Especially a lot of her skills tend to be either really close quarter skills, so javelin and spear skills, or they go the other way where it's all range, so you've got crossbow and arrow skills. I think the best build I ever saw involving an Amazon was basically she actually it was a chick who was playing at the time. She completely completely abandoned all the different sort of actual weapon skills, so crossbow skills, everything. All she did was focus on the passive skills. So she dropped a whole load into critical strike, evasion, everything like that. Basically, she could run around and virtually get hit by nothing, and every time she hit something, it was virtually a critical hit, or it did a shit ton of damage because she was able to hit it and then run away. And I haven't seen anything to top that until I saw someone do the druid walking tank or super tank build, where you basically drop everything into strength and into health for your werebear and werewolf forms. Watching that thing go hacking, go basically cleaving its way through everything was ridiculous. I think it completely soloed Diablo under 10 minutes. It's just not bad. Smells better in here already. Be on, Boney. He's got some serious Overlord vibes when he goes into fighting in the graveyard. Oh, I doubt that very much. Come at me, DPS. And down you go.
I can't carry anymore. Sisters, there is no other way.
what you need.
Some chain gloves, that's good. Get a reward, get a lovely rogue off sidekick.
I can hardly believe that you've defeated Bloodraven. Though she was once my closest friend, I pray that her tortured spirit remains banished forever. You have earned my respect, stranger, and the allegiance of the rogues. I have placed several of my best warriors at your disposal.
It is clear that we are facing an evil difficult to comprehend, let alone combat. There is only one Haradrim sage, schooled in the most arcane history and lore, who could advise us. His name is Deckard Cain. You must go to Tristram and find him, my friend. I pray that he still lives.
I'll put that to good use.
Right, will probably help clear out the roads. She's not going to die. Right, I'll take a small break, and I'll be back in about 5-10 minutes. Put the rest of my dinner in the fridge. Never a good idea to put something with cream in it and leave it sat out for too long, so. It's one way to upset both your stomach and anybody else in the house. So this one's buttered chicken. Down into the mausoleum. Who left your key in a mausoleum? Down in Dixie. This crazy spindly bastard. That's the other one, that's Bone Breaker.
I am overburdened. I can't carry anymore.
What can I do for you?
I do have to agree with the addition of jewels and other magical items, just as an extra bonus to equip on the weapons and things like that. Well, find some way to entertain yourself.
Greetings.
I can't carry anything.
Yes? I'll put that to good use.
And that's the mausoleum done. Yay! Right, off to the down the one. Was it the crypt, the fire crypt? Just the crypt. Liquid level up and item snatch. Let's see, bone breaker. Oh, hello. I believe that is what I think it is. It's a unique axe.
to see you. I'll put that to good use.
Yeah, and into room mail we are. A really good option is if you get a superior option, so the armor jumps up to about 55. But also it's socketed, so if you've got a ruby and a skull, you've got an increase in life and health and mana replenish. So really good for both melee tanks and any kind of magic user, because not only does it replenish your health, especially if you get dinged by something from long range. Your health and also increase your health, so especially something a little bit more squishier than a barbarian or a paladin, a sorceress, or in some ways an assassin. It'll certainly help you save your bacon. A lot of the other classes, in particular assassin and sorceress, they don't really benefit a lot from close quarter weaponry, so shields, swords, anything like that. Most of their bonuses come from their class weapons, so guitars, claws, everything like that for assassins, and then wands, staves, and a whole multitude of other stuff. Druids, helms, wolf heads, hawk heads, things like that, they can get pretty powerful, similar to the jawbone cap for the barbarian. But a lot of the time it's more cosmetic than actually anything. You more often end up using the same shit you do for anything else, especially in the lower levels. The only time any of them show any real sort of benefit for their class is when it's usually, especially if they're focused into those areas. So, assassin focused into claw weaponry.
I am overruled. I am overruled.
What is it? The druid focusing into either werebear or werewolf. Because the bonuses tend to go for the actual skill sets themselves more than the actual lycanthropy. So the actual
Good day.
base bonuses for either form. Or they tend to focus on the companion side of things. So especially if you've been focusing a lot more into, say, wear form, just wear forms in general, or DPS, so spells, big neglected companions, or vice versa. Just having a helm on your head can drop a couple of skill points into either one of those. It might just give you the edge a little bit later on. I know that the Raven and the Spirit Wolf are quite useful.
I'll put that to good use.
Especially for just for mob control, because they basically, as soon as they get into the high levels of skill points, so pushing double figures, they can really wreck a mob really quickly. especially when you're if you're running around in your wear form, or you're just dropping bloody firestorm and meteor and other spells like that on their heads. And also in a party, if you're just teaming up with a sorceress, she's just raining down ice storm or blizzard or anything along those lines, and you're just, when your companions just running through and just completely wrecking everything, because her spell doesn't damage them, which is quite helpful. Similar with the necromancer, companion summoning, so golems and skeletons. Skeletons are good, especially when you start hitting the higher levels of skeletons. So you go from the basic skeleton warriors to skeleton mages to a lot more powerful stuff. Still can't be beaten by a golem. The downside of a golem is you can only have one. You can only have one type of golem as well. So you've got either an option for an ordinary clay golem, a blood golem, which shares your health. So if you've got a lot of protection spells on you, like bone armor and things like that, your golem will share the defense benefits of that. But it's only useful if you're sort of using it as a sacrifice straight up. So you basically summon it to let distract something and then you run away. Because trying to sustain a fight with it when it's sharing your health is very dodgy. Because you might take one solid hit and your life goes right down, and all it takes is a second hit on the golem. That's it, it's gone. It's only taken one hit. Speaking of little high-speed, little crazy bastard friend from a while ago, here he is. So yeah, it's very much a Christ, that charge bolt damage. Yeah, it's very much a pick a stance and then go with it, because a lot of time you can't have it all both ways when it comes to a lot of these classes. You can either be melee focused, or you can either be range focused, or magic focused. I mean, I only increased the mana on most of the tank options I have on barbarian, not too much druid, assassin, and paladin, because they get hit really hard by mana steal. Of course, if they've got really low mana burn or anything like that, it automatically goes straight onto health if there's no mana left. So having mana there tends to keep you alive a lot more, or tends to keep you alive a lot easier. Obviously, the downside for any kind of magic caster, i.e. druid, sorceress, and some regards Amazon, really, their offensive skills are decreased quite a bit. So obviously magic skills are virtually reliant on mana. Her initial sort of close quarters skills, they don't burn through a lot of mana, but they're useful. So having mana there to be able to use the skills is beneficial.
The order welcomes you.
But then you fall into the trap of okay, so I've got no mana on this character. Yeah, okay, I'll be safe. And then you're wondering why you're dying very, very quickly. It's like, well, it's only mana. It's like, well, yeah, because it burns the mana, so you can't use your skills. But if the ability or the resource that's attacking isn't there, it automatically transfers over to your health. So you're effectively taking double damage, or taking extra damage because you don't have any mana left. So avoid that problem altogether. Just keep your mana relatively simple, especially if you're going really sort of blessed warrior side of a paladin as well. So not just focusing on auras, you're focusing more on the holy spells. So holy shield, divine shield, blessed hammer, things like that, where you're not exactly focused on any part of your weaponry, more your shields, but you've got some offensive spells involved in that as well, offensive skills too, charge and sacrifice. That basically kills off a bit of your health to make you do more damage. You know, loss for gain.
I am overburdened.
The purely the benefits of Holy Shield, Divine Shield, and things like that. They purely increase your defense rating. It makes your shield look cool, really. That's a cosmetic look when it's holy power. But that's all it does. It does. The higher skill, I think, doesn't increase blocking rate. I don't think I've seen that. I could be wrong. Feel free to correct me on that, anybody. But yeah, mostly it's just increasing defense rating. So it means your overall defense is higher. So by ipso facto, you don't take more, you take less melee damage. Doesn't really help against magical attacks though, which is always a bit that got under my skin. So well, if I can take less damage and whatever with holding, it should at least lessen the damage, some magical damage, surely. But no, that's not how it works. So
Good evening.
that's why it's one of those. It's good to have to switch out to something. You initially enchant your shield and then run off with something else, especially auras. Auras are good for that. If you're running into something, you've taken care of your melee defense. You've taken care of either you switch to another paladin in the party, drop some might, and you drop a salvation. Basically people can benefit from extra damage and also benefit from having elemental damage done on them or reduced on them. Obviously can't work in tandem with each other. They can't work at the same time, but they can. If you're switching them on and off between the two, where especially against Diablo, where he uses a lot of very heavy fire lightning, so it's fire damage and lightning damage at the same time, or Mephisto, where he uses a lot of lightning damage, but then there's a bit of cold thrown in there as well. It's very good for making sure the party survives, to be able to get close enough to deal a serious blow to whatever the boss is.
Good to see you.
It's one of those where you have to sort of work together to get the most benefit out of it. But solo playing, most of the time it's just you're dropping one aura at a time and then just focus on it. Right, okay, I'm protected from this until up in this point. Okay, right, okay, next range of attack or next whatever attack sequence, right, switch to this aura. Okay, wait it out. Okay, right, he's going to run close to me. Right, I'm going to hit him now. Switch to another aura, etc. And then basically playing the plate spinning game, trying to get your timing right, trying to get the setups right. I sort of gave up trying to keep that as a focus for fighting Diablo, especially for me, because it doesn't matter what player I'm playing, whether it's barbarian or paladin. I always want to get close up and personal with Diablo, because let's be honest, that's where a lot of those two characters pay off. it's not sitting back and trying to keep in your range. It's not anything like that. So having to get up close and personal is the most beneficial. Unfortunately, that's also the best way to fucking die, because he hits like a bloody tank.
And so it came to pass that the Countess, who once bathed in the rejuvenating blood of 100 virgins, was buried alive, and her castle, in which so many cruel deeds took place, fell rapidly into ruin. Rising over the buried dungeons in that god-forsaken wilderness, a solitary tower, like some monument to evil, is all that remains. The Countess's fortune was believed to be divided among the clergy, although some say that more remains unfound, still buried alongside the rotting skulls that bear mute witness to the inhumanity of the human creature.
Yes, so those of you who know your real world creepypastas and things like that she's actually, she's actually based on a real person, or so the legends go. That was an actual countess in somewhere in the Balkans, I believe. Basically, that was her shtick. She would kill virgin girls in the village, have their blood drained in a bath, and then bathe in the blood. Keep her forever, supposed to keep her forever young,
Yes.
forever beautiful. Until the townspeople finally had enough of it and said, well, up yours, bitch. Here's a steak for you.
I'll put that to good use.
Yes?
So yeah, for me personally, Diablo has always been the biggest challenge. I fought Bale, I fought Mephisto, all of it, whatever. The one who was the biggest pain in my ass was always Diablo. Because a lot of his is just straight up bullshit level damage spells, or just infuriating close quarters damage. Because he'll do a strike that basically freezes you. He'll do just general damage from actual just normal attacks, and then he's god awful bloody fire lightning. Because you can't have two auras at once. It's the same principle it used to be for the first game. Whatever resistances you had for elemental damage, he would always focus on the one you're most weakest in. So you'd have fire, you'd have lightning, you'd have what was the other type of damage in that one? It was I think it was called just mental magic. It was basically so knockback, telekinesis, things like that. So if you were strong in fire and lightning and whatever, he just hit you with bloody telekinesis spells and shit like that, which, you know, won't exactly pick you up and throw you around, but it would, you know, just outright damage, which can start to piss you off just a little bit after a while. Because of course, especially if you didn't have a lot of decent hit recovery, telekinesis acts the same as knockback. So you're constantly getting hit, and you know, as far as you're concerned, you're getting stunned constantly. So you're sitting there trying to recover, and he's just landing hit after hit after hit after hit, because it keeps resetting the timer on the stun every time he hits you.
Good to see you.
So that was the most infuriating part of that for me, fighting Diablo in the first game. But yeah, fighting him in the second one was most assuredly the biggest pain in the butt as well. I mean, people have said, oh, fighting Bale's much harder than fighting Diablo. No. Bale has the same weaknesses that Mephisto does. He relies way too heavily on magic, which you know, not just in case of or in the same situation as Nithiliac, in Act 5, where he'll just mass summon shit and drop it on your head. But as soon as you've killed it all, it's fine. Basically, you can focus on him. Now, of course, if you made the biggest issue with that is he's not going to be sat there just watching you while you're doing that. He's going to be launching bone lightning and everything like that at you, basically trying to gang rape you from afar. So that's a real pain in the ass when it comes down to it. But if you're quick and you know what you're doing, you're pretty much safe. And then basically, as soon as the minions are dead, he still suffers from the same issues you have when you're summoning creatures. You have cooldowns. He also has cooldowns. So his summoning ability is effectively the same. He can only summon so many at a time. He can only summon so many after a time. So basically mass killing all of his minions and then focusing on him while he's trying to re-summon all his minions. Better strategy than for melee, more than say magic or ranged. Most of the time I've seen Amazon or anything like that, or Sorceress, basically they'll just gang rape him from afar, similar to what he's trying to do, and just ignore the minions, because most of them die when he dies. So Bale's the only exception to that. He'll just keep summoning. He won't stop. He'll just keep summoning. So you basically go from, oh, there's about a dozen or so things, and then all of a sudden you've got an entire frigging room filled with these bloody things. So you really have to focus a lot more on getting the mob levels numbers down before you focus on him. And then his clone ability. That's the other one that really gets people, really upsets people, because a lot of time is wasted trying to find which one's the real him. You can kill the clone relatively easily, but you're basically wasting time and wasting resources trying to find it. And there's a very specific way to tell which one's not him, and it's very very hard to see when you're trying to pay attention to other shit going around you. I think I saw in the
What you need?
one of the strategy guide things about fighting him was basically the demon on his name, so where it says, Baal, Lord of Destruction, it says underneath a demon, so he's found to find what his class is. The clone has the demon word slightly off center. So it's very hard to miss when you're not paying attention, but if you're paying attention enough that you can notice it, yeah, that's a basic way to tell which one's which. And there we go, so we've got a nice high defense one there, and it's got a couple of sockets in it, so I've just dropped a ruby in it. Hopefully I'll end up with a skull, because that would be good. Yeah, so that's the easiest way to tell the difference between the two. But that you're still going to catch the thing, because of course you keep teleporting all over the place. Fuck. But it's good for once you've figured out which one it is, for someone, a magic user or someone from range, just completely spam the fuck out of that one. It's not a bad, sort of game all up, really. You've seen worse. You've seen a lot of worse RPG games. I mean, I've always tried to get into some Guild Wars or Neverwinter Nights. I love Neverwinter Nights. I love the Forgotten Realms stories, Dungeons and Dragons, and everything like that. So a lot of that story incorporates those sort of stories. So you can run into characters from the stories that are still around, but it's just that it's too open world. Like, it's all you can't really sort of focus the game into it like you can this. Yeah, it's the same old quest. Yeah, but you really feel like you're taking on the army of evil by yourself. But it still feels like it's plausible. You're not running in there and basically just soloing the whole damn army. You're doing it piecemeal. You're running into different locations, and running into different locales that have been overrun by enemies, and basically fight your way through to the boss. If you had to fight this many enemies all at once, you'd be royally fucked. But sort of fighting it this way, where you're just jumping between different areas and driving them out of one into another, and then fighting what's left of that next lot. Act 5 does that very well, where you're basically fighting through the siege lines. That bottlenecks the army very well. Like, it still feels like you're in the middle of an army trying to fight them all, but the whole all the defense works and everything like that, they actually work against what would be the army in the trenches. So they can't help you. They can't help each other trying to fight you. You can bottleneck them into areas. You can force them into different areas that negate their numbers. It's basically they expected being attacked from everywhere but the front, and that's pretty much what you do. You go stampeding right through the front of the trenches and basically start fighting them as you go running through, which is everything they were not prepared for. Because they took the attitude that even the barbarians aren't insane enough to do that, and that's exactly what they end up doing.
I am overburdened.
And then when you're sort of up on the making your way up Mount Ararat, you're running through caves and you're over whatever outlooks and things like that. So you're bottlenecking an army of demons into small pocket areas that you can fight them, which again makes sense. It's no good trying to fight an entire bloody army on a plane. You're just going to get your shit pushed in. It's That's why in Act 3, when you're in the Paladin City, that one's also very believable and understandable because it's a fucking massive city, and all they've got is their hierarchy of the religion and everything like that. Most of the people are all dead, so all they've got is their hierarchy. So the city's meant to hold somewhere, I think around, part of the law, it's meant to have something like 10,000 people in Travancore, upper and lower Kurast and everywhere like that. It's meant to have up to 10,000 people living there. So you imagine a city the size of, for Australian people or whatever who might be listening, the area of most of Melbourne. Yeah, and you've got 10,000 people in it, very similar to Melbourne itself. You've got anywhere up to 10,000 people living in it, but you've got that same area that's only got about maybe 100 people in it. You're thinking, story-wise and whatever. You've got about 100 people in the place, maybe 200. And you've got to hold an entire area that size. It ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. No matter how powerful they are, it ain't going to happen. So, so basically them trying to, them trying to bottleneck you into the council chamber, that benefits them. That's why I don't go running in. So, that's trying to run in there and then trying to fight them all at once is the guaranteed way you get shit pushed in. Because, they're all either very heavily melee focused, they do a shit ton of damage to you, or they, in melee sense, or they are very powerful spellcasters. So, basically getting cornered and getting absolutely bombarded by all sorts of spells, all that's going to happen is you're going to die. So you try and lead them out. You try and lead them out piecemeal, one by one, because their only intent is killing you. That's how they're programmed. They're only intent on killing you. They're not intent on working together. They're only intent on killing you. And if you go running in like an idiot, basically trying to fight them all at once, that's more for you. Magic and ranged can help a lot more than that, especially if you're not someone who can go running in and melee them, one after the other, if you prefer. Just sniping them for a long distance is really good. That's another one where it tends to tend to be at the mercy of the spellcasters because they can do the exact same thing. The Hydra spell, that's one that really gets up my nose, where they summon a three-headed Hydra that just shoots fireballs at you. If one or two of them at a time is not so bad. It's when they've got 5 or 6 of them dropping on your head. That's when shit tends to go south very quickly. was just used to have a thought about when I was playing this. I can't remember what game it was, but it was very similar to this. You know, you go into an area, fire everything out, and then the homes, the home area, or caravan or anything like that would actually move with you, similar how they do it in Diablo 3. But it was, yeah, that was the whole point, being able to move the thing into different areas. You have an escort bit where you have to protect it as it moves to a different area. So yeah, basically, as you're going through these different areas, especially like this underground passage, you know, there's a caravan of the rogues behind you, sort of following through the area. So it benefits you to kill everything, absolutely everything you can find, because then there's less shit fighting later.
I can't carry anymore.
Good evening. What we got watching us today? Erica, Laurie, and yeah. Hello, Erica and Laurie. Thanks for joining us. If you're just lurking, that's fine. But thanks for joining us anyway. Feel free to talk if you feel like it, or if you can. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep rambling on to myself, really. I just know a lot of people who tend to jump in and watch streams like this and whatever is a lot of time they haven't seen the game, they haven't played the game, they're just very interested in the game. So I tend to try about how much I actually know nothing at all, which is don't know necessarily everything. Everyone does, but I try and impart a bit half about it if I can give it. Do it. Is the one time you
resolution of the screen. I wonder what's doing that. Oh, sorry. Odd. I think it must be because of the game. I'm trying to figure out how to put on the full screen, I think. See if that does it. No, goes right back to it before. How annoying. No, they didn't do it either. That's all right. Oh well, we'll have to go back and try and figure out how to change that. Got on the max setting for the resolution for the game, and I'm pretty sure I had on max resolution for the stream as well. So very strange. Out into the dark wood. Let's look for a weird ass fucking tree.
I am overburdened.
What can I do for you? I'll put that to good use.
Greetings.
overburdened.
Also, Arthur riding through Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Follow me, Patsy! But bank coconuts behind me.
Good day.
I am overburdened.
It's a massacre in the woods.
I am overburdened. I can't carry anymore.
What can I do for you?
5-minute break. I'll be right back. Down that, make sure the house is all. Shut up. Such a fast roll.
I am carry any.
That'd be much for a necromancer.
Good to see you.
It's a good knife though. Soft.
This tree bristle man.
We are the tree. natural habit or whatever of the character. They tend to pick some of the most suspenseful places you can find.
I am overburdened.
What you need?
Very good. I've translated them in this scroll. Must find the cairnstones and touch them in that I have written.
Something I noticed very interesting about the Kittis story as well, not that it's first in person, just how they set up the tower, the Black Marsh, and you should get there. Is a tower reminds me a lot more of the Stephen King Dark Tower sort of set up, because what I remember of those stories, it was a dark tower out in the middle of a marsh. And it was basically a doorway to different places. Another one I found out, or something along the lines of that, of Orthanc from Lord of the Rings or anything like that. I mean, the tower we see and whatever is only a tower from the rest of the castle, so who knows how magnificent the actual castle would have looked. Or manor house, depending on what sort of style or whatever nobility she was. So yeah, for anybody who's been here before, I've had to and welcome to Road Girl. Sorry I didn't notice you've joined before, but film me for joining. Yeah, the reason why I've been off and on is fortunately I've now the job now to make that I didn't know. To set myself up down here, so I've been basically moving out of Sydney and moving to Melbourne. So luckily I had an apartment available, or rather, sorry, a unit available that I purchased, and now I'm basically moving all my stuff in. It's basically what we've been doing for the last week, 2 weeks or so. I had to wait. I was staying with the parents while I was waiting for the old tenant to move out. Basically an old dear that was her health had started to fail, unfortunately, and she was in a situation where she had to move back into care, and basically, and then my situation happened. It's like, well, it benefits everybody, really. Yeah. I've got to go. You know, I can have it. We can set it up that it's that you're moving in as I'm moving out, and you don't have to worry about it. So yeah. So that was my good deed for the year, I suppose. You shouldn't have to fuss around and worry yourself and make your health worse trying to sort out getting the units sold or someone moving in. Everything was just all whatever into place. So smiles all round in the end. It was my grandmother's old unit actually, but basically they had bought it off her, so she could also go into care, and I bought it off them. So Port of Tristram.
What a tragic end to Tristram.
There's my sword. Nice if it is. You dopey bitch.
Thank you. Thank you.
Poor Griswold. Everyone ends up dead and he ends up first.
I can't carry anymore.
Another interesting thing I found out about
Good to see you.
the Kev rescuing Kane. Now it's actually not a story dependent quest, which is interesting. Basically, you can go all the way into the Rogue Monastery without completing that quest. Because then once you've got the tools of trade quest, after picking up the Heroic Malice and give it to Chassi,
The Order welcomes you.
basically Kane will appear in the village anyway to give you the quest for Dariel. And basically he'll tell you, yeah, a bunch of rogues came and saved me. Never wanted to test out this theory, and I've never really ever been in a position to do so. But yeah, apparently it's a thing. So Wirt's Leg. So for those of you who've played the first Diablo, there was a rather pain in the ass little bastard of a peg-leg boy. They used to charge you gold for all sorts of gambling things, basically similar to what Guy does. But yeah, basically just charge you an exorbitant amount of gold just to look at an item that you could possibly buy off pay even more fucking gold.
I can't carry it.
And yeah, so basically he lost his leg in the first attack by Lazarus on Tristram. So when he took over the cathedral and like that, basically the demons came. Yeah, shut up, Kane. I'll rest you in a second. Yeah, so when all the demons came running through, killing everybody, one of them grabbed him and started to drag him into the cathedral, and unfortunately he lost his leg because of it, because basically it bit his leg, and the leg he went one way and the leg went the other. There we go. Kane's free.
Deckard Cain, leave quickly. I can't carry anymore.
What can I do for you?
So yes, so the first part of the cow level something, basically you have Wirt's Leg, a Tome of Town portal, shoved it in the Hereditary Crib, and you basically transmute it, and it'll in the rogue encampment, and it will summon the
You
portal.
have risked your life to rescue Cain. For that we thank you. We must seek his counsel immediately.
The annoying part of that, every time she gives you a ring, it's usually really crap, so I just sell it straight away.
As a token of my gratitude, I will identify items for you at no charge. Regrettably, I could do nothing to prevent the disaster which devastated Tristram. It would appear that our greatest fears have come to pass. Diablo, the Lord of Terror, has once again been set loose upon the world.
Ah, welcome, Danking
As
Around.
you know,
sorry if I didn't see you
Some time
before.
ago, Diablo was slain
Thanks for
beneath
joining
Tristram.
us. If you're
And
just
when
looking, that's
our
fine, but
hero
thanks for joining us.
emerged triumphant from the labyrinth beneath town, we held a grand celebration that lasted several days. Yet, as the weeks passed, our
If you like
hero
watching me
became
stream and just
increasingly
listen to me
aloof.
ramble on, guys,
He
feel
kept
free
his
to follow.
distance from the rest of the townsfolk and seemed to lapse into a dark,
I'm
brooding
pretty
depression.
trying to stream a little bit
I
more
thought that perhaps
semi-regularly
his
or whatever. As I
ordeal
said,
had
I'm
been so
in
disturbing
the situation
that he
that I'm trying
simply
to move
could
into
not
my
put it out
house,
of
so
his mind.
streaming is a bit haphazard at this point. But
Tormented every passing day.
yeah, I tend to drop
I remember he awoke many
games like this,
times,
Deep Rock
screaming
Galactic.
in the night. Always something about
Once
the east.
Dark Tide, something along those lines,
One
comes out,
day
maybe.
he simply left.
I've been meaning to
And
get back
shortly
into
thereafter, Tristram was attacked by legions of
Vermintide,
foul demons.
because then at
Many
least you
were
can
slain, and the demons
influence
left
how I
me
play
to
the game.
die in that cursed
so that'll be a
cage.
bit more entertaining.
I believe now that Tristram's
keep
hero
dropping
was that dark
whatever
wanderer who
spawns in my head if
passed
you
this way
absolutely want to.
before the monastery fell. I fear even worse, my friend. I fear that Diablo has taken possession of the hero who sought to slay him. If true, Diablo will become more powerful than ever before. You must stop him, or all will be lost.
Just realised I just dropped containing the ability of speech. Apologies for that, especially if you want to listen to what he was saying. Players, if you're coming along a big swarm of those, kill the shamans first, because all they'll do is keep resurrecting you. And you can only kill so many at a time, or just maybe just keep resurrecting, and just keep dropping bodies off.
I am overburdened. can't carry anymore. I can't carry anymore.
When I fled the monastery, I left behind the Herodric Malice, my enchanted smithing hammer. If you can retrieve it for me, I'll use its magic to strengthen
new
your
quest
equipment.
for the Herodric Malice. Basically a magical smithing hammer similar to the smithing hammer of the dwarves from Nordic mythology.
I am overburdened. I can't carry anymore. I am overburdened. I can't carry anymore.
Greetings.
Good evening.
So who else is enjoying watching the freaking meltdown of Johnny Depp over Johnny Depp's victory? I say victory in inverted commas because it wasn't a bloody victory. Yeah, okay, he won the case, but it wasn't a victory by any means. Just more on the pile of lots of bullshit that has become our society and our world at this point.
What you need?
All four that they all both got their time in court, but they were so desperate to make it a troll like media. They really were. They were trying absolutely everything they could possibly throw at it. Yeah. It's one of the biggest things that's always pissed me off about any kind of high publicity case and whatever like that is it never has its time in court properly. It's always trial by media, and if they don't like the outcome, they basically threaten everybody involved to get the outcome they want. And even more so that the fact that it's such a blatant bloody distraction. Did anybody notice that the Julian Assange case went to court, and they've decided to approve the appeal to have him extradited? No, of course not. Because you're all too busy paying attention to bloody Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, for fuck's sake. It's like, Jesus Christ, if they could, it could have been any more blatant about it. That trial could have been done in a day, really. And no, it took nearly 4 weeks for it to go from initial whatever and evidence given to actual verdict. That's entirely the point. It wasn't a case of whether anybody was guilty or not. It was just, this is our distraction. Nobody's paying attention. Nobody's looking over here. It's always basically been my thing at this point in time, is people are always making jokes or making whatever's about, oh, you know, the zombie apocalypse is going to be upon us, and nobody gives a shit about the zombie apocalypse anymore. It's the idiot apocalypse upon us right now. Aha, so here we are, the Black Tower. So in terms of whatever, it's very very Stephen King. It also reminds me of the tower that Merlin supposedly built out in the middle of the swamp that Arthur stayed with him in. Depending on which Arthur story you read. Very good if you're an Arthurian legend person of the story. Arthur places or the Mists of Avalon, which are a lot closer to the original Norman saga legend. So it's a lot more heavily focused on you know, wizards and you know, knights sort of style thing. But still good read. It tries to do similar to what Patricia Cornwall or Bernard Cornwall do with their historical, historical fiction. Because a lot of theirs is whilst a lot of the people, a lot of the names and the places are true, the overall story not necessarily is true. Unless it's actually based on a real person. So yeah, so a lot of the Norman events at the time sort of are sort of incorporated into the stories. War, the start of the 100 Years' War, actually included at the very end of it. So, so OBS has gone down again. Sorry about that. OBS has decided to have another